Hello and welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news show. March is Women's History Month, and we at the Happening Out television network want to celebrate the women who make our community great. Tonight we are hosting a panel of anchors who are all involved in the Aqua Foundation For Women. The mission of Aqua Foundation For Women is to serve and support the lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in South Florida through grants, scholarships, and initiatives. So it's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the partnership between Happening Out Television Network and Hotspots Magazine. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. We bring you the best of LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
That's what's up. I am your anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat. Let's welcome anchor Lexi Goza. Yeah, she's chair of the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber's Women's Empowerment Council, board member of the Aqua Foundation For Women. She's also the founder and former president of P-Flag Melbourne and former president of Space Coast Pride. She owns a State Farm insurance agency in downtown Miami, is certified as an LGBTQ plus business enterprise by the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce. She loves long walks on the beach and hanging out with her dog. I mean, it's, God, what don't you do, Miss Lexi? Good evening, my sister, Miss Lexi Goza.
Good evening, Miss Faye. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Just a quick plug. Again, I am hiring like crazy at my State Farm agency. It's on the corner of 14th and Biscayne in downtown Miami. So if you know of anyone who's looking, we're hiring all the gays.
That's a good corner, 15th and Biscayne.
Right? Next, let's welcome Karen Costello Wilder. This Michigan native studied communications at Michigan State University. Professionally, she has been focused on customer experience, both in managing the Costello family construction business and the restaurant industry. Karen moved to Miami 9 years ago and has been a fierce supporter of the Aqua Foundation For Women since its inception, joining the board in 2017. As current board chair, she is excited about Aqua's future and opportunities to serve the LGBTQ plus community of South Florida. Karen is committed to kindness and human connection towards every person she meets. I can attest to that. She considers that her superpower, and we all know that to be true. Welcome, Karen.
Thank you, Lexi. I'm really happy to be here tonight. It's my first time.
Ooh, we're popping the cherry with Miss Karen. Everybody make your sex joke right here.
Ladies, I would like to welcome Cindy Brown. She is an icon in the LGBTQ plus community, and that is an understatement. She was an early organizer of Miami AIDS Walk, the White Party for Care resource, and other major events. She has served as the executive director of Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber Foundation and LGBTQ Visitor Center. She is the founding executive director of the Miami Beach Pride and currently serves as the program manager for Jewish Community Services LGBTQ Lambda Living Program for LGBT seniors. I would also like to add that Cindy, as an icon, is also one of the OG founders of Aqua Foundation For Women, who we are celebrating tonight. Yeah. Good evening, Cindy.
Good evening, and Karen, thank you for that introduction. I've known Karen for a long time, and I'm so happy that she's joining us at the table tonight.
Thank you.
Now let's welcome Nora Rotella, a founding partner of Rotella and Hernandez, a full-service immigration and family law firm. She's a Supreme Court certified family law mediator and was co-chair of the Gay and Lesbian Lawyers Association and winner of Florida's Legal Elite Award Good evening, Nora.
Good evening, Cindy. And unlike you all that are out there, fighting the good LGBTQ plus rights, I am stuck fighting the law and just being a lawyer.
Really? Did you just say that really?
Yes.
Like just being a lawyer? You know how important you are,
just
Nora?
a lawyer.
No, you keep representing LGBTQ how you do.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know what? I am the designated pit master over at the Aqua Foundation
Yes,
barbecue
you
that's
are.
coming
Oh,
up.
yes.
Right?
A title you hold and love.
And I hold very dear. So we are the reporters for Queer News tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, March 3rd.
So let's begin by queering up gay culture. Importance of local lesbian advocacy organizations in the community. The Aqua Foundation is the example. Many charity groups in our community have a tendency to stay in one lane. Lesbian groups cater to the lesbians, gay groups stick with the guys, trans groups focus on trans issues. One group that has broken down some of the self-imposed barriers between groups is the Aqua Foundation for Women. Are you a lesbian? They are here for you. Bisexual woman? Yup. Transgender woman? Yup, we've got you too. The Aqua Foundation has resources to help with health and wellness, women's empowerment, assisting with educational costs, and lots more. That is why tonight we are celebrating these amazing, amazing women. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here with me. You don't understand how, you empower me.
Aww.
And I know that that's what you do for all women, but I just want to tell you, as me, you empower me. When you allowed me to be part of your Aqua Foundation last year, your Aqua Affair last year, and you let me host it. I know, Karen's big mistake there.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we were so honored.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
no, it was my honor to be amongst you guys. It really was. You guys are just so incredible. And then at the task force, me and Al sat at an all-girl
yes.
table.
Yeah.
I think you were interlopers, weren't you?
What's an interloper mean?
You just dropped in on the table.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had the cool tape.
Like a party.
Well, no, and that's the thing that we were, I can't remember who it was. It was someone that was so gracious, we got extra chairs over here. Do you really want to sit at table number 21, or do you want to sit with Aqua? And me and Al were like, Aqua.
Well, Aqua has been around for quite a bit of time. As Karen mentioned, I'm one of the founders of Aqua, and we really saw a need in the community. There was
And what
a
year
big
was this,
hole.
Cindy?
It was actually, I remember the precursor of the Aqua Foundation. We did a sweet charity event on the roof of the Sony building, and that was in 1999 because I went there after my 20th high school reunion.
Oh, wow.
So we were part of the Dade Human Rights Foundation at the time, and then a few years later we broke out on our own, and we created ourselves intentionally to support the LBT in our community because there are lots of opportunities and services for the guys. Rightly so with the HIV and AIDS need in our community, but there really was nothing for the women. And, women are supporting women. If we wanted a organization for women, we had to create it. And the women that are in leadership now and are on the board and have taken it, from those of us who 20 years ago had this idea, I can't be any prouder to be a founder of the Aqua Foundation, seeing where it has
To see your
become.
hard work,
Absolutely.
23 years later. I mean,
Yeah.
that's incredible. And, I love that it's just helping all women. If you identify as a woman,
That's
we're
it.
here to help, And when I was so humbled to be at the Aqua Fair with you ladies, to see the recipients so happy about the money that they were able to have for books, for schooling, for furthering their education. These women were powerhouses in their own right. And then they found Aqua Foundation, another powerhouse, and it was able to get them to the next level. Do you still talk to these women? Do you still talk to any of these women that have gotten these grants and help in the past?
Yeah, so we bring them back into the loop with invites to different events and volunteer opportunities and things like that. Some of them also become board members, so
And mentors
Ayana
themselves.
and mentors themselves. And so it's kind of a succession planning thing as well. And the scholar program is actually what got me interested in Aqua to begin with. So when I first moved to Miami, I really had no connections at all in the community, and so Aqua was there with their scholar program, and I was like, wow, what an incredible thing to do, to be able to provide funds to the women of our LGBTQ community to want to improve themselves, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And also for succession planning, right? So we're also grooming them for future leadership roles within the community as well at the same time.
Some of us are tired.
Right? Cindy's like, enough.
We need some young blood, which we have.
Right.
We do, yeah.
And not so young blood with Karen.
I can say that
young
at heart.
We're in the same club
than me, only a few months. So.
Hey, don't age shame Karen. I'm trying to steal her
I'm not
glasses after the
shaming
show,
her.
bro.
Well, before we move on from this, I just want to add, I know that one of my favorite events that Aqua hosts is the barbecue.
Yes.
Barbecue, and that I believe is coming up relatively soon. Karen, you've got a date yet?
Yes, our family barbecue will be March 27th.
Awesome.
It will be in the same place as last year, which is historic Virginia Key. This is a free event to celebrate our LGBTQ families. It was originated when I believe Robin Schwartz was talking to some friends, and they had been in an event with their kids that had other gay families there, and they came home and her child said to her, you know, it was really great to go today because there were families like me.
Oh my God.
And it is just so fun. It's always been a great success. We're going to have a water slide. We're going to have Kona Ice show up. There's going to be entertainment and
Can I
hula
go on
hoop.
the water slide?
Yes,
We had to throw you out of the water
I want to
slide
get
last year.
I want to get a picture of that. And of course, if you're interested in volunteering for the event, you know, please get in touch with the Aqua Foundation, and we would love to have you. And so that's coming up. And then we are also an event the previous weekend. We've got a busy March.
Yeah.
Is the AIDS Health Foundation
Yes,
walk
on the 19th.
on the 19th and in Fort Lauderdale. And we are so grateful and proud to be one of the 7 organizational recipients of a match from the AIDS Health Foundation this year. And they will be doing a 50% match for every dollar that we earn for fundraising. And this is also a great way to fund our scholarship program, which I believe is the cornerstone of the Aqua Foundation.
Yes.
And I also want to mention, since Lexi was waxing so poetic about the scholarship program, I want to wax poetic a little bit about this mentor. She was incredible. I believe she mentored for 3 years, and her mentees speak so highly of her, and she just brought so much to the table, and so that's why we had to snag her to be a board member, and I'm so glad that we did.
I see why you chose her. I love that. So make sure that you follow Aqua Foundation for Women on all social media, so you can go to the to the barbecue. I was there last year with my wife and our dogs,
much
and
fun.
it's such a family-friendly
lot of
environment.
food,
a lot of food,
and fun.
a lot of fun. And so, I was talking to my girls in New York, right? I was like, oh, I'm gonna hang out with the girls from Aqua, and of course they were like, Aqua Girl, yeah, we're gonna be there. Yes, they're about Aqua Girl and partying, but they're also about this part of it, which is empowering all you ladies, all right? So make sure that you follow them, and if you can, you know, donate some cash, send it over.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Karen, we'll start with you, my dear.
Okay, let's queer up trans rights. Texas business community condemns Governor Abbott's transgender order as bad for business. Queer News Tonight has previously reported on Texas Governor Greg Abbott's order for the state's Department of Family and Protective Services to investigate transgender minors transitioning as child abuse. Texas businesses are making it known that they are not happy with the governor's decision. I mean, who would be? A letter issued by Company Texas Competes read, quote, "Every year, we face creative new attempts to curtail the rights of LGBTQ Texans. We are gravely concerned about this week's use of non-binding opinions to attempt to insert the state into parents' private medical decisions for the best interests of their child. May I remind them it is their child." Quote, Texas Completes counts more than 1,400 businesses, large and small, as partners, including Whole Foods, Dell, and Taco Deli. Last night, a judge issued a temporary injunction against these investigations.
I hope these injunctions keep coming.
Right.
I agree. I am so grateful for that.
Well, it's just crazy that it has to even get there. And
Exactly.
I'm curious to know who filed the injunction to begin with. But You know, it's sad to see that state funding and state money is being used to go after transgender children and their families. You know, when we look at the Department of Children and Families, even here in the state of Florida, there's so many children who don't have homes or in foster care. To misuse funds for this purpose is just sickening.
Yeah.
And you know, Texas and Florida with Abbott and DeSantis, they're in the same basket of deplorables.
Right.
Can you
next to
imagine?
each other,
Can you imagine a parent being punished for just loving their child, for just supporting their trans child? Like, this is crazy.
Well, it was only up until I can't remember the exact year, if it was 2013 or 2015. But the books here, the laws in Florida, actually still had that homosexuals could not adopt.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, you know, Elizabeth Schwartz and other attorneys who were the pioneers on this, who really pushed for gay adoptions. But we're seeing this now pushback, I think, with transgender children, children in same-sex couples. It's really sad.
Do you think that our trans children are being targeted because they're the lowest hanging fruit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, we always talk about this on Queer News about how our heightened visibility and our
people.
advocacy really threatens people, and that then invites these attacks. And I think you're absolutely right, Faye. I think they go after the most vulnerable portions of our community because they're easy targets.
Yeah.
And there are still places where they can fight. You know, we witnessed that with the sports thing that happened with our trans kids here in Florida. So, you know, as you said, Cindy, Texas and Florida right next to each other, right? They're both trying to take away the rights of our kids.
What do you think about these businesses that are saying, hey, you know, if this crap keeps up, I am thinking of maybe packing up my stuff and leaving.
Well,
I mean, Whole Foods is not a small little
And
bit.
Dell Computers.
Dell is not a small little.
I mean,
I'm not sure about Taco Deli, but I think it's big
but
in
it's probably
Texas.
big in Texas. You know?
I mean, I'm sure
We
that
should go check it out,
these
right?
companies have nationwide
Presence.
and if a company's trying to recruit someone to Texas, they're going to go, hell no, I don't want to go to Texas. Same thing with Florida. You know, North Carolina pulled that crap in the
bathroom issue.
Well, didn't Texas also pull that bathroom crap back in 2017 or something, that they were also trying to, like, in all the libraries and all the federal buildings, you had to go to the bathroom that matched your birth certificate or some ridiculous crap like that.
There seems to always be an attack on our rights to liberty and freedom. I mean, just under our U.S. Constitution, we as parents have the right to raise our children as we deem fit. To allow a law like this in Texas is really an attack on our liberties and our fundamental rights. So I'm glad that a judge put a hold on it, and this injunction is just like a restraining order until I guess they figure out the rest of the case, and to see if the state really has standing to bring this type of legislation.
Yeah, but how many people will suffer before that happens?
Right, and you know, they say everything is bigger in Texas. You know, that has to do with big hair, you know, 10-gallon hats. But this hatred that is so big in Texas against trans kids has got to stop.
It really does. It really does. I won't even eat Texas toast anymore. I love you, Faye.
Next, we queer up entertainment. Here are the 5 best movies with lesbian characters on Netflix. What are your favorites? Cosmopolitan recently released a list of the top 15 movies with lesbian characters to watch on Netflix so that people can snuggle with their loved ones during this cold winter. Here at the Happening Out television network, we're in South Florida. It's 80 degrees out. Plus, we want to hit the pool. So our production team cut the list to their favorite 5 movies. Number 5 is Fear Street, Part 1, 1994, because there's nothing like reliving the 90s teen horror novel series in film form. In this movie, a group of teens realize their town may be cursed, and character Dina realizes she may have to kill her ex-girlfriend to break the curse. Of course she has to kill her ex-girlfriend. It's a lesbian movie. Everybody dies in the end. Number 4 is A Perfect Ending. When an unsatisfied wife turns to a female sex worker for help, sparks fly.
Ooh la la.
That's the only one I haven't seen yet, so I'm looking forward to that. Number 3 is A Secret Love. This documentary is a real-life lesbian version of A League of Their Own and tells the story of baseball player Terry Donahue and her partner, Pat Henschel. I lied. I also haven't seen this one because
so
I'm going to cry my eyes out, and I prefer not to cry.
There's no lying on Queer News tonight. Continue.
There's no crying in baseball. Isn't that a thing?
Totally.
Number 2, The Prom. This star-filled musical tells the story of a high schooler who wants to bring her girlfriend to prom. It's super cute. Super, super cute. Finally, my favorite, number 1, is called The Half of It. In this retelling of Cyrano de Bergerac, a young girl helps a classmate write letters to the girl he likes, but ends up liking the girl herself. This was my favorite one. I don't usually care for like the high school stories, but I loved this.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them. I'm at least I have some things to queue up now.
I haven't seen a lesbian movie in 30 years. So I'm going to go home tonight and tell Rosemary we've got 15 hot lesbian movies
we got
to
movies to watch.
And I also thought it was interesting that this was an article in Cosmopolitan. Because back in the day, and I may be dating myself, but Burt Reynolds was on the front of Cosmopolitan magazine with a very, hairy chest, and now they're talking about lesbian movies.
Love that.
I love it.
Also, wasn't that also the magazine where Cindy Crawford was, who's the one on the cover?
With Katie Lang?
With Katie, and she was like
in the barbershop?
in the barbershop.
I have that postcard taped to one of my kitchen cupboards.
Ooh, I bet you do.
Helen Gurley Brown, bless her, the longtime editor of Cosmopolitan, was
I love
always before her time.
I love that. So I saw the sad one, The Secret Lover. That was like I cried through the whole thing. You saw it too, right, Nora?
I did.
Gut wrenching.
It was. I mean, Patty cried for days. So if you want, watch it on the weekend.
Yeah. And they did bobbleheads of the two women, which I'm mad about because they put them in the uniforms that they used to work, stereotypical lesbian, instead of putting them in just like regular outfits.
Right.
Whatever, it is what it is. I want to see The Secret Lover or whatever it was.
The sex worker.
Of course, I want to see The Sex Worker because. And what is today, Nora? What is today, Lexi?
International Sex Workers Day.
You see, for you sex workers.
We love you, sex workers.
Are you suggesting we go find ourselves a sex worker?
Yes.
You're married.
Did I say that out loud?
Your wife about that.
Actually, we're kidding about that, but I think we should also address the fact or mention it that, in our trans community, sex work is a viable profession, and
oftentimes the only work they can get.
Absolutely, and so we do support sex workers, and especially International Sex Workers Day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're so far away, but I mean that should be legal. It's your body, and you should be able to do with your body as you please. But I mean, come on, they're telling me I can't get an abortion. They're going to let a sex worker, work legally. I mean, it's
and God forbid,
God
forbid you have a transgender child, they're going to investigate you.
Right.
Just saying.
Yes.
Well, so these and many more movies on Netflix with a bunch of women in it. So make sure that you watch them, put them on your binge list for this weekend coming. Because, just think about it. Karen will be watching it with her boo, too.
That's right. Well, now let's queer up the world. Time to get serious now. Armed gang targets Ukrainian LGBTQ plus group headquarters in humiliating raid. In the early hours of Tuesday morning, the Kiev offices of LGBT Human Rights Nash Mir Center were raided and ransacked by an armed gang. It took the gang nearly an hour to break into the premises, and during that time, 4 members of the staff who lived there attempted unsuccessfully to contact authorities. While members of the organization initially thought the gang was Russian, they now believe they may have been Ukrainian. In an email, LGBT Human Rights Nash Mir co-coordinator Andriy Maymulakin wrote, quote, "We do not know who they are. People with guns. They humiliated my friends. They are bandits." Just horrible. And I believe that this gang took advantage of the fact that Russian was invading Ukraine.
Right.
Absolutely.
And just wanted to wreak havoc, and they felt that they could do this horrible attack under the guise of, this Russian invasion.
Talk about, putting kosher salt in the already open wound of what's happening with the Ukrainian people.
Yeah. Right.
And let it be known that we support Ukraine.
Yes,
absolutely,
yes.
100%.
I didn't even know I liked these colors together. And I'm just like, I stand with Ukraine every day. We're thinking about you. Can we talk about the bravery of these LGBTQ plus people staying in this building and saying there's a war outside, missiles and everything behind them, and they're like, no, we're going to stay put right here.
Right. Yeah. And, there's so much bravery going on. And, the Ukrainian president, who used to be a stand-up comic,
he was like the lead in a story similar to Veep.
Yeah.
You know how Julie Louis-Dreyfus was like the bad president?
Right.
He had that role.
Oh, wow.
In that same kind of story in the Ukraine.
Wow.
Right. And he is standing up. he's going nose to nose with Putin and not backing down.
And they said if you see a
admire
woman
him.
walking down the street, carrying a machine gun, she means it.
Exactly.
And those people are literally prepared to fight to the death for their country.
I read a story about like a model, a supermodel from Ukraine that was like, okay, this is the first time I picked up a gun.
Right.
Okay, but I am here and I'm going to fight for the country that I love.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Patty was telling me a super endearing story that she read, and Patty cries for anything, but this actually made
That is
Patty, my
Patty
wife.
Hernandez, her beautiful wife.
Yeah,
That's right. And now I forgot what you were saying because I was so like the
'cause she
thought
cries
of
for
her
everything.
the thought of her beauty
Tissues.
just tissues, right. So she was telling me that there was a 90-year-old man that showed up with a bag to pick up his arms, and a 90-year-old Ukrainian
Yes.
to pick up an arm and say, "I'm here to fight for my country."
I've
I mean, if
seen-
that doesn't give you goosebumps,
It does.
you know,
all over.
There are pictures of old women carrying machine guns and, women out there fighting.
Kids.
It's not just the guys.
the courage and the balls, pardon the expression, but seriously, the balls that these folks have and that the Ukrainian president has is
It's
incredible.
extraordinary.
I was watching John Oliver the other night, and he's so funny. And of course, the opening, he says, I can't even talk about the Supreme Court nominee tonight because of Ukraine. And so he's showing all these different stories. And there was this woman, because we now know. And what I also, don't love about this, but we've learned so much about the Ukraine.
Yes, we have.
Right.
Right? And that's, a side bonus. But this woman took a handful of sunflower seeds to one of the Russian soldiers and offered them to him. And she was, hurling a lot of expletives at him. And he said, go away before this causes a scene. She's like, you've already caused a scene. She said, so take these sunflowers and put them in your pocket so that when you die here, flowers will sprout.
I love it.
And so John Oliver says,
I love
okay, this is a first.
Aye.
She brings sunflowers to a gunfight and wins.
I love that. And see, I thought the sunflowers in the pocket were so the birds can eat your face when you're dead. After, no? Guess
The
not.
vultures could find
gross
you.
Had a much
sunflower.
better motive.
And you know what? I had a sunflower growing out of my rain gutter one time.
I was going to say something.
They-
Wait, no, when you said growing out of my, I was like, wow.
Rain
I was
gutter.
waiting
Rain
for that.
gutter on my house,
Wow.
Faye. Thank you very
But
much.
back to what Faye was saying about the courage of these folks, right?
Right.
So when we were talking about this last week on Queer News, we were talking about the fact that there was a kill list. And it included a lot of these LGBTQ advocates who have been vocal and fighting for the rights of Ukrainian LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
And so, every time I think about it, that's what my mind goes back to, just how much courage it must take for them to continue to stay in their truth and be authentic to their fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're sending prayers your way for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Prayers for Ukraine.
And next up, we queer up gay culture. Feeling attacked? Times Tumblr nailed what it's like being a lesbian. Tumblr is home to some of the funniest users on the internet. Using the hashtag lesbian shitpost, we found some of the funniest explanations of what it's like being a lesbian. One user said, quote, "The key to me realizing I'm a lesbian was when I finally acknowledged that the butterflies I felt towards guys sometimes was actual anxiety," end quote. Another user posted, quote, "If Sam was your favorite character from iCarly, you were almost 1,000% big gay," end quote. One shy user posted, quote, "Have I ever successfully flirted with a girl? Mayhaps not but one time, me and a girl Facebook poked, each 200 times, so checkmate, homophobes," end quote. What funny comments have you heard or made about being a lesbian? Make sure to share them with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch.
My favorite one is, I used to be a tomboy. Now I'm a full-grown lesbian.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
Cover me in chocolate and throw me to the lesbians. That's my
Right?
favorite one.
I love that. And I love that what one of the users had said, the butterflies meant I had anxiety, right? I'm like, or you had a bad lunch. You know what I mean?
Like it could be one or the other.
Do I like you?
Yeah,
don't
and I
know.
just have to say 1,000% big gay. I loved Sam on iCarly and still do.
That's her profile.
I
pic.
may actually be the world's worst lesbian because I don't know any of these
I don't
things.
know who iCarly is.
I
Really?
don't. I haven't watched the lesbian movies.
Well, you're a
we can
mom.
accept
Yeah,
So that's why also.
I have a secret advantage.
it. Yeah.
that and Bob the Builder. Cindy?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ+ religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
I'm Taisha Best, your queer community servant, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
So we finished tonight's queer news headlines with what we call LGBTQ+ flash news. LGBTQ+ flash news. Dennis Dean and other queer photographers you need to follow. So recently, I had a fantastic photo shoot with local gay photographer Dennis Dean for the cover of Hotspots magazine, where I've been told by David and our production crew, who knows everything, that I am one of maybe 5 or 6 women that have ever been on the cover of Hotspots in its 36 years. It's been around 36 years.
It is about darn time.
All right, that's a good looking, I'm naked. Oh, wow, you had to put the naked picture up,
Of
huh?
course. What do you mean?
Oh, that's my, yeah.
I love that one so much.
Dennis Dean is just so incredible. His eye is just superb, and he didn't make me feel uncomfortable. And I had roles showing, and I was like, you know what? This is who I am. I'm 40 plus. I've got scars. I've lived through addiction, a double mastectomy. I've been through it all.
Yes.
Here are the pictures to prove it. Show my naked picture one more time.
You worked it, girl.
Gorgeous. When my wife saw that, she was like, really? Really?
It's okay, Teresa.
Well, so now
Or
that,
thank you, Teresa.
yeah, right. Yeah, she should ask me more questions when I
lucky
leave the house
Teresa.
half naked, right? So Dennis Dean, he shot the cover for Hotspots magazine, and now that it's Women's History Month, so we've collected some of our favorite female and femme-presenting non-binary and trans queer photographers that you should be following on Instagram or just through life. First, from Montreal is Lawrence Philomene, a trans non-binary photographer who prefers to use other trans individuals as models. Beautiful. Next, from New York is Sarah Heaney. Sarah's a queer woman who turns insecurities into art. From side roles to breaking gender stereotypes, her photos turn the lens toward the parts that most people try to hide. Next, from Portland, we bring you Emma Wandra. Emma's images capture the sexuality and sensuality of queer people of every size, shape, and community. Finally, from London is Vic Letagny. Vic's photographs frame the queer community in a fashion-focused and editorial style with models from all parts of the LGBTQ+ spectrum. These are just a few of the amazing queer photographers who capture the spirit, history, and passions of our community. We should be supporting more of our LGBTQ+ photographers in any way, shape, or form, all right? These are the people who see us through their lens.
Right. And publicize our images, right? So every single one of them was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and they're all highlighting our community as well. I love that. You know, they could take pictures of anything, but they've chosen to stay in their community and support and provide visibility. I love that.
I love the inclusivity of all these photographers. You know, you were talking about your roles. I've had a role or two in my life, preferably sourdough. But I just think that's wonderful. Like, everyone is included, everyone is accepted, and most importantly, everyone is celebrated.
Yes.
And Faye, I've got to tell you, the cover is super, super hot. I mean,
you.
it screams sex.
Yeah.
So very, very happy for you.
Kudos to you.
I want to know if we can redo that shot where I have my hands on your butt.
All right, we'll do it.
I don't think Teresa would like that.
Next lesbian takeover.
Scratch that. We'll edit that out of it.
Okay.
Karen?
LGBTQ+ flash news. Supreme Court takes another important case that will decide LGBTQ rights versus religious freedom. The Supreme Court has agreed to hear the case of 303 Creative versus Ellenis. Lori Smith is the owner of Denver-based 303 Creative, a web design company. She is expanding her offerings to include wedding websites, but has put a disclaimer on the website that due to her religious beliefs, she will not design for same-sex couples. This violates Colorado's Anti-Discrimination Act. The Supreme Court will be hearing the case only to decide if discrimination is allowed in cases of artistic design. Two things.
Watch this.
Watch this.
I have been hoping and praying for this day for many, many years, and I'm very thankful that the United States Supreme Court has decided to hear my case, because my case is important to all Americans, including artists like myself. It's important that our First Amendment rights for free speech are protected, and I'm thankful that the court's going to hear my case and hopefully protect those rights for myself and all Americans.
You know, first of all, Colorado, again, and she calls herself an artist.
Right.
You know, artists are creatives. Yes. You know, they feel things. And you know what? Go to someone else's website.
Right. Yes.
And go Supreme Court.
You know, I'm going to take a little bit longer than the usual on this, just because it's so frustrating.
I'll let you because you're pretty.
The attorney at the
table. And also,
table.
I'm sitting at this chair, so I make the rules. Go for it.
It's really, really hard to understand how the Supreme Court would take a case like this, and I'll explain why. This is a case where there's actually this woman who claims to be an artist and graphic designer, web designer. She's the one who brought this action against the state of Colorado, not the other way around. Okay, because what she's trying to do is essentially discriminate, and how can I put it this way?
She wants the okay.
She wants the okay to discriminate, right?
Yep.
And for me to see that our U.S. Supreme Court has decided to listen to this is really disheartening, because I think they should have shut it down. Our First Amendment right to speech is pretty clear. I don't think that there's anything else that they need to clarify. And, you know, quite frankly, I think this woman has no business, because she has way too much time in going forward with this lawsuit. Like, go work on some web designs, right? Go do something instead of spending all this time, you know, looking for this lawsuit. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the fact that she has posted it on her website does save a lot of people a hassle. I think all companies that choose not to do business with the LGBTQ plus community should be required to post large signs. If it's a storefront, you post a sign on the storefront, and everybody who sees that sign will go, even our allies, straight people will go,
I'm not going there.
I'm not going there.
Or I am going there.
And, you know, I wouldn't want her to do my wedding website. I mean, there are plenty of LGBT providers. So, you know, I think some of this is just ridiculous. Let her have her pity party for herself. And we will go to businesses that are members of, you know, LGBT chambers of commerce, and who absolutely support us.
You know, I never understand the religious radicals when it comes to things like this, because you have a tattoo, right? Last I checked, and the Bible said that you can't do that, right? And then you discriminate, so you spew hate, which again, it says in the Bible that you're not supposed to do, right? So where is the religiousness in
one of the first 10 commandments is love thy neighbor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know? Exactly. Can I say one thing?
Please, Ms. Karen.
Since we're talking about the Supreme Court and it's a night celebrating women, I just want to have a shout out to the new Supreme Court nominee.
Who went to Palmetto High School, which is where I graduated.
The high school of my granddaughter, Isabel. And you guys have to help me with her name because I'm blanking. Ketanji?
Let's just call her Ketanji.
Ketanji.
Yes.
Brown Jackson. So how fabulous. And Miami, you know, is going to be so proud, and I know she's going to represent.
And I was so hoping it would be her, Karen, like when they had given us like, oh, we think that'll be one of these ladies, right? I was like, oh, let it be.
And you know what's really great is she's young.
Yeah.
So she'll be on there
Forever.
Okay, yeah.
And she's going to vote against Lori and her website and tattoo in her
Okay, I think we got off
unchristian way.
track.
Hopefully she's on the bench by the time that, that case comes up for.
Well, we hope
right?
so. We hope so.
Right.
Yeah.
Miss Lexi?
Yeah, so to Cindy's point, like I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. And, at the end of the day, your rights end where mine begin. And so that's how we should be living. And you shouldn't be able to discriminate against me. But if you decide to, I'm not going to throw my money at you.
Right.
Yep. Miss Lexi?
Oh, I'm up again. I went to
Miss
sleep for a
Lexi.
minute there. LGBTQ plus flash news. Real Housewives star. Oh, that's why. I don't like this story. That's why.
Oh, that's why you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
Real
wanted my
Housewives.
story.
Yeah, Real Housewives star experienced homophobia from her castmates. The members of production here at the Happening Out television network are shocked to hear of allegations of homophobia from cast members of the Real Housewives of Orange County. The Housewives franchises, aren't they full of sweet, caring, respectful women? Just kidding. Despite the trashy nature of the shows, it's still not okay to bash people for their identity unless they're a real housewife, maybe? When Bronwyn Wyndham Burke came out as a lesbian in December of 2020, she became the first openly gay housewife in Real Housewives franchise history. Good for her. Recently, in an interview with Page Six, she discussed issues with her castmates, saying, quote, making off-color jokes about me being intimate with a woman, that's not okay. Those are microaggressions. After I came out, having to prove that I was gay, that should never have been tolerated. That is a microaggression. That is homophobia, end quote.
Let's not do a one sentence for this. Explain to me what this microaggression
So
is.
microaggression is like kind of like passive aggressive behavior, right?
This
on
is
an
not a
issue.
microaggression,
This is not
though.
microaggression. And I feel like that term has been overused and overutilized so much.
When would that be used correctly?
A microaggression would be, for example, if I was with one of my many black friends,
Okay.
and a white person came up to talk to us,
Right.
and they only looked at me.
Right.
That's a microaggression. This is outright aggression.
Great
And it's
examples.
bullying.
Yeah.
And-
It's bullying. Is
So,
what-
ladies, I'll ask you this. Have you ever gotten that from other women? Like, you automatically expect to get, I don't want to, bash the boys or bash the men, but you expect to get this from cisgendered men,
Sure,
But
yeah.
have you ever encountered this with other women, with straight women? Like, I know I
course.
have. Like, I've had,
Yeah.
like a woman say to me,
You're too pretty to be a lesbian.
oh, you don't have any children? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like if I had it, if that wasn't okay with me,
Right.
or I've had maybe a woman say, oh, if I'm gonna go gay, I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, I get,
Where
I
I'm
get
like,
that too.
Yeah, I
That's
had
a compliment.
That
Like,
right.
Is that a
But
compliment?
yeah, you might want to go gay with me, but honey,
You're not my
I'm
right.
not going there.
I'm the one that makes that decision.
Right, exactly.
Right? It's still my badge, right? Last time I checked.
Yes.
Right.
All right.
It is still your badge.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
Just
My
because
comment
you
on
become a
this.
lesbian, you don't lose ownership of your badge.
Got it. Badge rights matter. Hashtag badge rights matter.
Yes.
Yeah. And actually, I would add that anybody who agrees to be on a Real Housewives or any kind of reality TV, what do you expect?
You're opening yourself up.
I
right?
don't watch any reality TV
Yeah,
because I
either
think
do I.
it's an abuse and a manipulation of the people on the
Oh,
show.
wow. Well, okay, so
I do watch a little Amazing Race. I will say.
Oh, I love my friends
That's a
Lulu and Lala.
competition
My friends
show,
Lulu
but-
and Lala are
yeah.
on there.
Really?
Yeah, those are my girls. I've worked with them back at Univision in New York. And they're awesome, by the way. So let's talk about Real Housewives real quick. So we have Real Housewives of Miami that is out now.
Right.
And Julia Lemigova is in it. And she's married to Martina Navratilova. Right? And no aggression there. They all love that she's gay. I mean,
Right.
they're all questioning their own.
That's
No,
Miami.
they're questioning their own, like, hey, maybe I'm gay too. And not in a nasty kind of way. They've
No.
like literally said, come home. You're part of us.
Well, and I
that's
think it's also,
awesome.
excuse me, Cindy, they admire her that she's living her truth. And then they're like, am I living my truth? Not saying that they would be gay, but it's like,
yeah.
So good for them and their support.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any woman,
allies.
any woman that makes you question yourself and say, hey, how can I be a better me? That's the women I want to be around.
Right.
Like
Right.
you ladies at this table.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Truth.
Well, it's kind of funny to see that happening in California. Like,
Right.
That's
Right.
a bit
know.
odd because they're pretty liberal in their thinking.
But,
a lot
you know-
more than I think Florida, but
Some of these women are very wealthy.
That's
and
true.
we've seen
Most of them are.
that and I'm making a complete generalization here. I know wealthy people who are very strong allies and not, Trumpers.
Republicans?
Yeah.
But, I think that there's a percentage of the ultra wealthy that don't care about anyone but themselves, and if it doesn't affect them, they don't care.
Yes.
And I do agree. Well, let's try to have some fun on this one. Let's do LGBTQ plus flash news. Lesbian memes that literally hit the bullseye. A meme is defined as a humorous image, video, piece of text, etc. that is copied often with slight variations and spread rapidly by internet users. As if we needed a definition for a meme, but I probably did. In today's internet world, they have become an entire way to communicate moods or situations. Here are some of our favorite memes for the lesbian community as collected by the Instagram account at God, I'm such a dyke. Number 1, the Super Bowl was last month. This meme shows the 2 types of Super Bowl lesbians.
Miss Lexi?
On the left, we have the sports lesbians who have their faces painted, they're ready, they got their beer, and then they've got their girlfriend next to them, which is, I guess, the second type of lesbian, who has no clue what's going on, and they're just watching because their girlfriend watches.
Listen,
No, I know them.
Stupid
I
story.
know people like
That's
that.
me. No, that was me for a while. I dated this girl and I had no idea, but all of a sudden I had a cheese on my head. And I had no idea why. I was wearing cheese and I was all about it.
Packers.
I had no idea what was going on, but I was wearing green and I had a cheese on my head.
I don't look like it, but I'm, the
Big
sports
fan.
fan, knowledge lesbian. I don't play
I
sports.
want to hang with you.
Yeah, and so Rosemary and I watch a lot of sports, and so we are those ladies.
Love it.
Let me tell you that picture really, is almost a picture of Patty and I.
Which one are you?
Which one?
I'm the sports lesbian, and I hate to even admit this, but I'm a Dolphins fan. I know.
Well,
That's okay. I was a Detroit Lions fan,
Yeah, we're right there.
but we're very happy for Matthew Stafford.
I gotta say she does, do her best in rooting for the Dolphins. But I'll tell you this: I refuse to watch a game with her because every time we watch a Dolphins game, they lose.
They do.
And
They do.
I believe it's not anything but Patty rubbing off.
watching it.
Tell
Yes.
Patty not to watch, and then if they win, then they'll
They
know.
actually do. When I don't watch it with her, they win.
Okay,
so I'm
she
not,
can't watch
She
anymore.
can't watch.
Rosemary always
Can I
does
tell you-
something like this. She always wants it to be a game. So, a couple years ago, Michigan State, my team, go Spartans, were playing Notre Dame. It was a night game. It was raining, and the Spartans were winning. And this is when we were still long distance, and we're talking. She's like, "Oh, come on, Notre Dame. I want a game." And then the lucky Irish, of which I am 100%, won.
Whoa,
So now I say to her, I said, "No,
Don't say anything.
We're rooting for this team, this person, and we want a game, but we don't want a close game."
Do you ever go to opposing teams?
Oh,
Do you
all the
ever-
time.
All the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Okay. See, okay, I'm not a sports person, and my wife loves the Dolphins. And one thing that you can say about anyone who loves the Dolphins is that those MFers are loyal.
Yes.
All right. They will talk all the crap, and I had to ban her from watching Dolphin games because you would hear her screaming on the other side of the room. The best thing that ever happened was when Tom Brady retired. My wife did a parade of her own around the street, happy as hell.
It's funny, the Dolphins would lose to probably the worst team in the NFL any season, but then they would play the Patriots at home and they win.
Yeah.
Who would understand that? But
Yeah.
anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Nobody. Next meme.
I could spend the entire day talking about the Dolphins. Anyway, all right, number 2.
Wow.
Jurassic World Dominion comes out soon. Can't wait. And this meme blames the Ellie Sattler character for turning the creator lesbian.
Okay.
So the caption is, seeing Laura Dern's presumed arm strength in Jurassic Park as a kid is the reason I am gay now.
I just watched the movie again several weeks ago, and
What movie? Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park. Yeah,
The first
that's
one?
the picture.
The
That's the
original?
one the picture is from, and I didn't notice her muscly
Listen,
arm.
I noticed right
Laura
now.
Dern
Well, I notice now because
Yeah.
they
Look at this
pointed
one.
out.
could
but-
be one of the reasons I'm gay. I'm just saying, I love her so much that I have the Calm app and I listen to a bedtime story that is narrated
No,
by
you are
Laura
kidding
Dern.
right
you
now.
gotta let me hear that.
I
Lay
love
that
her.
shit down.
Oh, I gotta hear that. I gotta hear
You
that.
got to share that. Like,
It's interesting and also very creepy of you, Lex. have to say.
But hey, she let everyone know on live television.
I love your
there's one
transparency.
more
shame in
Jurassic.
my game.
I'm not
One more
into
Jurassic-
dinosaurs. I didn't watch the first one,
I'm
and
gonna
I won't
watch
be
the new
watching
one.
the Dominion.
I will.
Well, and she looks the same. That girl is, she's very pretty.
Well,
What's the
hasn't
next
aged
one?
Let's go to the next one. This Emily Dickinson quote that Lexi's going to read for us in a minute, since we can't read, still raises eyebrows.
Emily Dickinson really wrote to Sue, quote, I tore open your letter and licked the envelope seal for any lingering taste of you, end quote, and historians still think that they were just friends.
Aw, isn't
Come on.
that so nice?
Delusional historians.
Right.
Right?
Well, they don't want to admit that
Because
there are
those historians were men
escaping.
All
Well,
of-
of course, yeah.
that were documenting that.
Yes.
This is one of my favorite ones. Number 4, lesbians when they come out versus a year later.
So this is the funniest one for me because I was, I guess I was bisexual, but I thought that I was straight for a very long time. And I was married to a man and then got divorced and then had a boyfriend. And that poor boyfriend got his heart broken because I discovered
And you're a lesbian.
that I'm a lesbian. Vagina. Yes, please. And titties. So he said to me in that moment, actually, that he expected to see me in a year and I would be wearing plaid flannel and listening to Melissa Etheridge. So
Driving a big old truck.
Maybe one out of
Come to my window.
That's right.
exactly.
You know, when I first came out, it was a long time ago, and I had to dress for work. Of
course.
And so I was wearing skirts, and I had a
Has anybody seen Cindy
No.
pictures
I've
from
got
back in the day?
pictures.
She has
I've
beautiful
got
long
pictures.
hair.
Well, remember when they did the makeover show on
Yeah,
you?
Karen was there. Yeah, there's a lot of history.
We're going to
there.
have to
But
pull up some
now-
of those old pictures of you, Cindy.
Well,
right?
you know, I was just up with family for my mother's 85th birthday, and my brother
Happy
and
birthday,
sister.
Mom. Happy
birthday,
yeah, yeah. She handed each of us a manila envelope filled with photographs.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to go through them and try and put them in chronological order. But the very first picture that was ever taken of me
You were
says Girl Brown. I didn't even have a name yet.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
But it's really great. But yeah, I had when Karen first met me, I had long hair
Definitely.
and I was a little more feminine. But you know what? Now I'm so comfortable.
I remember when I came out, I was waiting tables in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and a lot of lesbians would come in, and for years, probably like 30 years, I wore a very flawless bob haircut. And I would meet these women and, try and charm them and all this stuff. And then I would just go back into the side stand with all the other servers and say, I'm never going to get a date. Every single one of them have these short butch haircuts. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, no, you'll get a date. So then I got this haircut about a year ago, and Rosemary's like, best haircut in 23 years.
I totally agree.
I
I
love
said that.
And I'm like, I've always had good haircuts.
No, and for me, like I remember growing up and thinking, knowing that I was a lesbian, knowing that I was gay, and just going, I don't like flannel. I don't want to have a mullet. I don't want to.
Like freedom that you found out that you can be who you are.
Exactly.
We don't
How you
have
wanna
to fit into these little
Boxes.
Yeah.
And, lesbians look like
All of
everyone
us.
else on the planet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sometimes that makes it hard for us too.
You're a lesbian, you're a lesbian, you're a
Just
lesbian,
saying.
you're a lesbian.
That's it.
And let's.
And so are you.
Excellent. Yes, I am.
Well, we've
Okay.
got a very special final meme, and this one's going to be for Faye.
Is it?
This is number 5 on our list.
Do we recognize that face?
your
Miranda
favorite.
has always been queer.
Oh my God. Let me say, look, I love the fact that there is representation in Just Like That, right? I just don't feel that like it has to present itself as, I'm an alcoholic, so now I like women. As a recovering alcoholic, I can tell you that wasn't what sent me to women. I love women from day one, with or without the vodka. It just tastes better without the vodka. You know what I mean? So thank you for that meme production.
Right? All for you, Faye.
Yeah.
All for you.
So that is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you are a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the incredible women of the Aqua Foundation For Women, I love them, including Lexi Goza, Karen Costello Wilder, Cindy Brown, and Nora Hernandez Rotella.
Fernandez. I'm like, I belong to someone.
No. Just Hernandez. Please, Patty, don't kill me. We will see you.
We love you, Patty.
We love you, Patty.
We love you,
We will
Patty.
see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
LGBTQ+ news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Lara are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure